What do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs Podcast. It's a split with the Cincinnati Reds. Vibes were at an all-time high. Vibes came crashing to a halt. In the ninth inning, the Reds score 2 runs, come back, and steal one from your Chicago Cubs. What would have been a spectacular day is now just a day. Luke Stuckmeyer, Ryan Herrera, Corey Friedman, and Mr. Cody Delmendo. We are 4 wide for Let's Pod 2 today, our second podcast of the day, second postgame of the day. Cubs win the first game 6-2, lose the second game 3-2 after leading 2-1 in the ninth inning. And it was really a bullpen game, right? So this was a bonus game for the Cubs. This was a chance to do something special and have the bullpen steal and win for you, and they give you what you need. And unfortunately, the one guy who you really count on in the bullpen, Adbert Alzolay, just didn't have a good game. But everybody else did. The bullpen guys were all good up to that point.
What's wild is to start the ninth inning, Alzalai struck out De La Cruz, who is arguably their best player.
Filthy pitch.
I took a sigh of relief.
Gave him, that was his 4th strikeout of the night, and then Fraley hits the homer.
Yeah, he had a good day.
So it's a tie game, and then
did he hit the homer?
Yeah, Fraley's
no, it was
one.
Martini. It was Nick Martini.
Nick Martini.
Fraley's been annoying all day.
Left-handed white dudes. Okay. Nick Martini revenge game. Shout out Crystal Lake. Fine. What do you call it? Then the next guy gets a hit, and he strikes. Didn't he? He strikes, or no? He struck out the next guy to get the second out.
Yeah, and the error by Gomes.
Error by Gomes put the guy at second. I don't think it matters on the base at the end of the game. It was just weird. Like, I felt like Adbert actually looked okay. It's just, to me, the Cubs lost this game because they didn't score any runs.
Yes.
That's like the first inning. They walked 3 times in the first inning and also struck out 3 times in the first inning. Like that's
I think
me and you both, Corey, we were sitting there watching that first inning, and we were like, you got to get something here. You got to get something here. And then when they didn't, we both were like, bad vibes. This is going to be one that is going to be annoying, an annoying win or annoying loss.
Yeah, it's a shame because you got really good performances from the pitching staff today. You would really like that Hayden Wisneski outing. I'm sure we'll talk about that and how good he was. You would have liked that to not be in a loss, but it happens, right? Like, I know there's going to be a lot of chatter about Alzalai and whatever. He blew the save, right? Like, it certainly is a blown save. Like, nobody's hiding that. But this team has asked this bullpen to hold 1-run leads and put up very little run support for certainly this entire week, basically, and longer than that, right? Like, they were 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. As Cody said, you had that opportunity in the first. You had that opportunity late with Seiya, right? Who got on. Like,
ninth inning.
You had opportunities to add on and get some insurance. And this team has done really well, even just in this week, in close games. They held 1-run games, scoring a total of 3 runs, right? In those 2 wins against the Brewers. You can't ask your bullpen to do that forever. Even the best bullpen will mess up. If you ask them to win a 2-1 game over and over and over again, they will mess it up. So it's a tough loss. A doubleheader sweep would have been really, really nice. But I think ultimately, like, this is not a trend from this bullpen. This bullpen has been really good, especially to those guys at the back end. What is a trend is this offense needing to score more runs. They need to take the pressure off this pitching staff. They did it in game 1 late. They did not do it in game 2, and this is going to happen.
Again, like, I don't I understand the meatballs in the chat that are going to yell about Alzalai. Talking to you, Colada. I understand.
Well, he's been consistent about the closer
You're
thing.
been consistent about it, and also I'm just giving you shit because you're in the chat every day and we love you and you're the Godfather. But again, outside of the one bad pitch to Martini, like, he didn't look awful in the ninth inning. When you want to talk about questioning if he should be the closer or not, that's if he starts walking dudes. If he's just getting mashed by everyone, I think he's had other outings where I've felt a little bit more nervous than I did in this game. Mm-hmm. So overall, he has more saves than anyone else in the second half since the All-Star break. Yeah. Like, it's hard to complain about Adbert Alzolay. Yes, he blew the save, like Corey said, but to me, they lost this game because they didn't score enough runs.
Yeah,
they had opportunities. I think Shane put it in the chat. 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position, left 7 on base, and there were times where like the luck factor didn't go their way. That one, I think it was the 7th or the 8th inning. Bellinger gets the knock, then tries to steal second, gets thrown out. Like, they were trying to be aggressive, trying to get that insurance run, didn't work out. The 9th inning, Seiya gets a leadoff double. Whoever came up after him, Jamer Candelario, he strikes out, so that kind of killed some of that momentum. Seiya eventually gets the third, but they can't get the big hit to drive him in. It's just, I won't say that I'm worried. I'm furthest from being worried about the bullpen or who the closer is. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the offense because the offense just really hasn't consistently been good enough, honestly, since they played the White Sox at Wrigley. They've had like, okay, the first game today, they scored 6 runs. Happ hit the homer, Seiya hit the homer, Belly hit the homer. They scored 6 runs in the first game. They've had a few other games where they've kind of broke out a little bit, but it consistently hasn't been there since the series with the Sox. And listen, I know that the offense was never going to play as well as it did from the beginning of after the All-Star break all the way to the trade deadline and to the series with the Braves. Like, that's an unreal, like the way the offense played during that stretch, it's unreal to ask a team to do that for months on end. But you need some of your guys to step up. Let's be real. Swanson's kind of struggled of late, right?
Yeah,
he has got a 520 OPS since the start of that Braves series.
Yeah, like it's he's no one talks about because the defense has been so good for him.
It's great,
right? And people keep tweeting at me saying the summer of Mike Tauchman's over. Like, yeah, I understand that he's in a slump. He's also a spring training invite. Like, I don't know what you expect from me. Like, he's played as well as anyone could have asked for. But yeah, he's in a slump right now, right? Like,
other than a couple Bellinger homers today, there wasn't much offense.
Not much, yeah.
I know they
And
scored 6 runs in the first game, but it was like
Bellinger, Happ, and Seiya are the
it.
only ones that you feel good about on the offense right now. Even Candy's been kind of, and like he had that good series against the Tigers, but he's made some nice defensive plays, so he's still making an impact. But I'm not saying the offense is like in shambles and that they're donezo. I'm just saying that after seeing what you got to score more runs for your pitching staff, but also like some of these guys need to get out of their funk. Like obviously Morel's been in a funk, and we mentioned Swanson, and like I'm a little disappointed we didn't see Canario in tonight's lineup just for the sole fact of how the offense is struggling. They could have used the boost.
For me, like tonight, the issue is like Richardson just isn't very good, and you just did not have a great effort. He couldn't throw strikes in that first inning, and when he did, he struck out the side, right? Like that Dansby at bat in that first inning was bad, right? He ends up looking at what I think was a fastball, like kind of down the pipe to take a looking strikeout after everybody's walking. You don't get any runs in that scenario when you took 3 walks. You walk the bases loaded. It's never this easy, right? But you need a better effort against a guy like that, right? Like it's okay when you're playing close games against Corbin Burns and Brandon Woodruff, right? Like they're really good. That's okay. This guy's a
garbage pitcher.
Mitch Keller on the Pirates, like he has really good stuff. He pitched really well in that game for the Pirates. Richardson tonight, like this is not a good pitcher. You have got to have a better effort. If we're here debating Alzalai in a 3-2 loss, I think you're missing the plot. He blew the save, obviously hit the batter the other day, which goes as a blown save, but that wasn't really his mess, right? Like he just hit a batter. this is also Alzalai's first time in this
Yeah,
role.
it's the first time
There's going to
closer.
be the fact that he was so solid up until this point is really great. He has been really good, and he's continuing to learn in this role, right? Like, and grow as a pitcher. I mean, this is a guy who not long ago we were trying to figure out how could he get lefties out at all, right? Like, and now he's been one of the best closers in the league in this second half. You want to see him bounce back and have a good outing the next time, but like tonight, you needed to have a better effort against Richardson.
Yeah.
We should not be talking about the back end of the bullpen.
I got a question about Alzalai, though. I agree with what you're saying, what everybody's saying. Like, he's been really, really good. Some people in the chat are saying, but he's giving up more contact than he was before. Do you feel like he's not pitching as well? Even though the saves have been coming, do you feel a little less confident? Take tonight out of the picture.
Yeah.
Over the last 2 weeks, have you felt a little less confident? I don't know that I do, to be honest with you. I don't. Maybe I've seen more contact and there have been a few more, like, Tums moments. But frankly, unless you have Mariano Rivera, even the greatest closers are always going to give you some sort of indigestion. That's just the way baseball is.
Closing baseball game. Well, first, like Ravi keeps saying in the chat, I have to address the he's saying, basically saying that Ross should have left Hayden Wisneski in and not gone to ladder, not manage the bullpen at the end of the game the way he did. And I can't disagree more. Like, the point of bullpen games is to cover the innings to get to your high leverage guy. So Ravi, love you, but I disagree with you completely.
And did we trust Wisneski to do that before tonight?
If anything,
not really.
when Wisneski came in, people were probably pissed.
Yeah, but so what I'm saying
Corey
is
was pissed when Wisneski came in.
I just
Robbie
disagree.
also says to put the ice cream back in the freezer,
He did
not
say
the
that.
night tonight.
I did make
I know, on a tough one like this.
So I just disagree. But to your question, yeah, I mean, Adbert, and I think as part of that is, as Corey mentioned, first time closer, right? Guys are getting, guys are getting a little bit more data, a little bit more of an idea how to adjust to him. He's also getting deep into a season as a closer. The usage is high. I know he was a starter before, but there's different things that go into closing than starting games. And he's getting, we're into September now. He's been used a lot this year. Maybe part of that is just the workload and again, like needing some days and a little stretch of games where he's not needing to pitch in high leverage moments like that. May help him just as far as the recovery goes in between games and stuff versus pitching as often as he has the last few weeks. But yeah, like you're right. Every closer has these types of games. Every closer, I think you'd like Adbert to have more put away strikeout stuff. It's not like he doesn't have that to like an elite level, but you obviously seen him be very effective as a closer. And the things he's worked on, the adjustments he made, I'm going to bring up me and Brendan's piece from like 3 months ago that we wrote on how Adbert's kind of developed.
Where do you find that?
On ALLCITY.com.
Thank you.
But just how he's improved in the bullpen and been able to get lefties out and all this different stuff. So I'm not like worried about Adbert, right? Like as everyone's saying, like it's gonna happen. It's happening a little bit more maybe now than it had earlier when he had first gotten the job and he was going out there a little more fresh, whatever. But yeah, when you're playing a lot of close games, like Adbert's not gonna save every game for you, just like no closer saves every game. I think maybe Eric Gagne was the only one to go like a high number and like perfect like 100% save and save opportunities, whatever. So what I'm saying is like I'm not worried about Adbert, but I understand that like he's a game like this dings a little bit of the confidence in him, but when you really step back and like he's been so good this year for the Cubs. A game like this was going to happen. It happened to happen at the worst situation. Coming almost sweeping a doubleheader, and then, But I don't like think we should worry about.
He's pitched 8 times since August 19th, and I think 3 of those are 1-run saves. Like, it. All I'm saying is games like this are going to happen. He's pitched a lot. They have asked a lot of him. He has come through. It's
most
he's
happen. Ever pitched.
It's going to happen. Yeah.
I will say, based off the question you asked, Luke, that I felt more anxiety from him coming in to pitch the night that Justin Steele last pitched when they won 1-0. Because he allowed a deep fly ball. Thank God the wind was blowing in. That was caught at the warning track. And then I think Tellez ended the game on a line out to Happ. And when I looked on Baseball Savant afterwards, both balls had high expected batting average and were hit very hard. Big of me to use anything other than Dell metrics there. But, so like, yeah, there's been some saves he's gotten where it's like, do you want to see that hard contact allowed? And admittedly, no, I don't. But who else do you feel better with in that position right now? I've said for months that I do think Palencia could be the guy long term if things with Alzalai don't work out.
What about Merriweather?
You know?
I'm just saying if you had to, like, adjust the roles or you had to give Alzalai a couple more days off between a closing appearance,
yeah,
I like Merriweather closing a game. Now,
yeah, in the short term,
Well, yeah.
I'm not saying as long-term closer, but like you were saying, okay, so there have been some instances where you're a little uncomfortable, like you would be with any closer. But remember, there was a game about a week ago where Alzalai wasn't available in the bullpen, and David Ross told us the next day, Alzalai came to me and was like, I'm not available tonight. This guy's thrown a lot of innings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's pitched a lot of games. So it might be, as much as you're trying to win these, you might need to find a couple guys to help carry that load the rest of the way.
This is part of, this is something we've talked about and it's something that a lot of people were kind of looking at the deadline, right? Like you don't and never had you don't have a Hall of Fame closer. You're trying to figure this out, and they figured it out as the season has gone on. Also, I didn't start this season as the closer, right? Like it's been a work in progress. And that might be the bigger takeaway from tonight. Like if Hayden Wisneski looks like he did tonight going forward, I mean, he's touching 98, 99. His breaking ball is absolutely disgusting. He had that attitude. He had that kind of pep in his step, striking guys out, walking off the mound, doing the little strut. Like, that would be a bigger development. Like, they're going to need all the help they can get on this pitching staff, and we knew that, right? Especially, like, Jed Hoyer, kind of like non-committal on what the deal with Stroman is. They really don't know. I think they literally don't know. Like, it's the same thing with the starting staff. We talked about it. Justin Steele is out here blowing past his career, innings pitched at the major league level. He's high stress innings now as he's trying to win a Cy Young in the middle of a playoff race. Like, this is, we knew this. Like, this team did not have a pitching staff where it was like, oh yeah, you're rolling out like, a bunch of experienced Hall of Fame level guys. Like, this is, there's some guys doing this for the first time. I mean, literally, you had a rookie start the first game today. You have a rookie start in the game tomorrow, right? Like, this is going to be part of this season going forward. They are in a very tight race in the division and with several teams in the wild card race, and it is not a perfect roster. It's okay, right? Like, we knew that.
Neither is the Brewers.
Yeah. Ravi says Phillies in the chat. Does that mean
Phillies,
that the Phillies took the lead or tied them?
Schwarber homered. I see that there's a pitching change going on right now, though.
Schwarber.
There you go. So
if we cannot lose any ground, that would be
there's
great.
a silver lining.
Schwarber.
The Cubs do gain if I'm not even gonna say it, but like winning a game earlier today and a game when you have a day when you have two games, winning one obviously helps out, even though you've lost the second one.
Yeah. And you got great,
hope at the end of this tunnel, right?
That's the thing. Like, I get being frustrated, right? Like, I'm not happy. None of us are happy. But this is one of those things where you did see some good things in this game. You got really good pitching. You didn't start anybody in this game. Like,
even Drew Smiley was good tonight.
Came in and pitched fine. Smiley was good. Inning, right? Wisneski was great. Mark Leiter Jr. bounced back from that rougher outing against the Brewers. He was lights out, as Cody always says. Like, those are really good things. Like, it sucks. It's a bummer. It stings. Yeah. These games are going to happen. You play enough. They have been so good in one-run games for 2 months, like exceptional in one-run games. I'm not saying you like don't care about this or you just like, whatever. It's frustrating. A sweep of the doubleheader was right there. But these games are going to happen, whether we like it or not. They will not win every one-run game for the rest of the season. I promise you.
The good news is they got a chance to still win the series.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
I asked today, when I woke up, I tweeted this morning, I was like, don't hurt me twice today. don't get swept today. That's all I asked. I asked to win at least 1. 2 would have been nice, and I would have been feeling real giddy on post game right now, and I would have been declaring we're coming for you for more than just what I'm asking for, which is meaningful games. Like I probably would have been on 1, right? But it's obviously annoying the way they lost because let's all admit we were sitting on the couch and we felt pretty comfortable for about 8 innings and as comfortable as we have felt in a 2-1 game in a while. And so
it's okay to say that Alzalai blew the save, but it's not okay to say he lost the game. In my opinion, we've all said now on the podcast, the offense lost this game.
Yeah, I think that's a completely different game if they score in the first. Get a couple runs in like that. Puts a lot of pressure on that starting pitcher I can't remember his name, Richardson, something like that.
Yeah,
Richardson.
That puts pressure on him to stop the bleeding, obviously, that early. As he gets 3 strikeouts to keep the Cubs scoreless in that first inning, that's a confidence boost right there. Even though he wasn't pitching well, he managed to get out of it, and that changes the rest of the game. I think if they put up a couple runs early in that first inning, this game's a little different. You may not even have to go to Adbert at all this game if they're able to put on some runs early in the game. So, yeah, I think the offense that just didn't get anything going in that second game outside of Bellinger's homer, Happ's single up the middle, like that's all the offense they could really muster. Blew a couple other chances, and that's just kind of that to me that's the story of the game is just the offense kind of blew a couple chances to add on and came back to bite them when the bullpen couldn't be perfect again.
Mo with a super chat for us. Alzalai just offense needs to get it going. Thank you for the super chat. Thanks for joining the chat and everybody out there as well.
I don't think it would have mattered because I think the single would have brought him home anyway, but I do agree with Garrett in the chat. Jan should have held that ball. I think Jan is, obviously knows better than I do.
You got win.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't have a win? Okay. Hey, as far as the Wisneski thing goes, it's funny because we've watched him all season and we all had such amazing expectations for super high expectations, maybe unrealistic expectations after the Cactus League season he had and the spring training he had. And then he came up and it hasn't probably been the regular season that he's been hoping for. But nights like tonight, where he goes 3 1/3, nobody gets a hit. He gives up 1 walk and he strikes out 6. Sheesh. Those are the nights when you watch Wisneski and you're like, damn, this guy I still believe he can be a force for this rotation or for this pitching staff. Either way, right now, he hasn't quite figured it out, but it seems like he's real close. And nights like tonight, you see the potential. You're like, he's got it.
And tonight, it wasn't just against righties. He struck out De La Cruz, too. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
and
he's everybody struck him out.
And he struck out 4 times. But as we've sat on this set before and talked about Wisneski, he's really struggled against lefties this year. He didn't struggle against anyone tonight. He didn't give up any hits. Struck out 6.
Touching 99.
Mark in the chat says Wisneski sucks.
Yeah.
What game were you watching?
Hate to break it to you guys, it's a fluke. It's done.
Yeah,
sucks.
But he's done it multiple times. He
just got to put it together.
Well, I think now you're looking at him as like he's not going to be a starter this season unless something crazy happens and they need him to move into the rotation. Right. I think the sample of him struggling versus lefties as a starter this season is a lot bigger than what he's been able. He's had some good games in the multi-inning relief weapon category, but we know the sample of right now. And for most of this season, when he was starting, the lefties were his issue. So I don't think, barring a bunch of injuries or whatever, like Wisneski's going to move into the rotation. However, if he can pitch even close to what he did, how he pitched today, moving forward, like that's huge for the bullpen. That's huge for the Cubs playoff race because when we looked at what Keegan was last year in a season where they weren't winning anything, the Cubs were absolutely hoping that Keegan could be that same guy for them this year, be that multi-inning relief weapon for a playoff push. He wasn't that, and he hasn't been that. But if Wisneski can be that for the stretch run, that is a part of that bullpen that they've really been missing this year, and that could be huge for them as they make this playoff push. That
Well, and I
multi-inning relief
Agreed.
weapon.
I think
And Robbie's
because-
right. It's about command for him.
Yeah, and I think
as well
because
as-
he struggled earlier in the year, like, remember, he's 25. He's a guy that just came up and made his debut last fall. Like, this is a guy that obviously you saw it tonight. He has a lot of potential.
We saw
And
tonight felt like a lot of last
it's a work in
September.
progress, right? You've
Yeah.
also seen him struggle. They're figuring out his role, etc. But like, there's obviously stuff in there that plays at this level, and how they put it together, we'll see. But he hasn't even been a big leaguer, I don't think, for a full like calendar year, right? Like, or maybe just about. Like, you gotta, it's gonna take some time. But you obviously saw it tonight, and if he can hold on to that extra mile or two on that fastball, it's a whole different story. You have a lot more margin for error when you're throwing 98 than you do when you're
Yes.
throwing 96, right? So again, like, this is one of those things. There's a lot of guys on this team and on this staff who, like, because we're in a playoff race, you'd love for them to be kind of final products, right? Polished and all of that, but they're not. They're putting it together. They're figuring it out with some of these guys, So Wisneski's one of those guys, but he's 25. He's got a long future with this team that, as Ryan was saying, whatever that role looks like, we're not sure yet, but if they figure it out, and I think they will, he's going to be a valuable contributor to this team one way or the other.
I gotta throw
understand the
something out real
frustration
quick.
with this. What's that?
I am currently, it's worth mentioning, I am manifesting a Trey Turner game-tying hit right now.
Okay.
So I just want to say that I'm manifesting
You are
it.
putting it on record
Thank
that
you.
you're manifesting.
Big of
I
me.
currently am watching as well, and I am also manifesting. So we are manifesting a. Oh, so is Corey. Well, look
We're
at
all
of us here
manifesting pretty hard here.
Everybody's paying attention to what we're doing over
Yeah.
here.
Everybody
I
manifests here.
understand the frustration with Wisneski's season. I'm just saying, if you go back and look at some sample sizes, yes, there have been some bad games where you're like, wow, he just has no command right now. This isn't going to work. But nights tonight where he goes 3 1/3, there was nothing tonight that he didn't have command of. He was in control of everything. And when you see that happen,
Trey Turner homer.
Trey Turner home run.
Let's go.
Hey, I just want to
we
tell you,
manifested it, baby.
we manifested that one pretty hard.
Let's go.
Wait, is Joey ahead on the stream?
Joey's
Phillies
ahead on the
lead
stream.
5-3.
No, it
Let's
just-
go.
No.
Joey's ahead on the stream.
I'm
He's
not
gotta be
ahead,
on the
They-
and I
no,
felt bad. I felt bad because I
Oh.
looked when we were
Oh,
writing
you
the
were
mock
ahead.
headline. No, I was not ahead,
Oh,
but we were
that's
writing the mock
crazy.
headline. I said, would this be a doubleheader sweep? They blew it. I said, I need to do some extra manifesting now.
Yes.
I have
They gotta
taken
hold it,
something
though.
away from the
So, hold
Cubs.
on.
Wow.
So credit
No credit.
They got to hold it. Like, the
Yeah.
Phillies
Credit
have to
to-
hold a lead.
credit
like,
to
it's all
Joey.
on
Eighth
him,
inning. They
you know?
need
No, I
6
just want to
outs.
say that I did.
Credit to
some
Joey for
extra
home runs.
Manifested the
manifesting.
hit. Yeah, there you go.
And Joey is correct. He was asking about the headline description over there before the game was even over, and it was a 2-1.
Well, I wasn't
game.
declaring a victory. I was asking what
But
the terminology
the energy
would have
was
been.
put out there, though. And
Stuckey said this game Stuckey. I'm not gonna throw him under for the viewers. Not gonna throw him under the bus here.
After he got like 75% of the way there.
I accept responsibility for the bad manifestation.
all right, big of
did
you.
you
Credit
catch
to
that?
you.
I'm
Even
not
though
going to
you
throw him under
totally
the bus,
could.
but there's something to
But
throw him
hold
under the
on,
bus
yeah.
for.
Yeah, he got like 75% of the way there, and then he stopped.
It was. I heard the beeping. I could hear the beeping in the bus backing up.
Anyway, I was gonna say earlier, the guy that you pointed out about Wisneski, he did say that he's sorry.
I am serious.
And then I think he also might have made
I'm
a
not
stop
mad at him.
at. He said
Sunnyside
he
Summer
might have-
Friday.
Yeah, he might have made a stop at Sunnyside, so it
that'll
all
happen.
makes sense a little bit. You know? So
Listen, I'm not mad at him. I understand. Like I said, I understand the frustration. Just tonight, to me, was the best we've seen him all season.
Yeah. It's
Right?
look.
Yeah, it was.
It's I don't blame. I really, especially like you're hanging out with us on a Friday night. I don't blame anybody. It's a frustrating loss. I have said plenty of irrational things after close losses when they're trying to win a division or make the playoffs. Like I really have no issue with that. Like, we're all in the moment. Like, we wanted them to win. Felt like they had a doubleheader sweep that got ripped out of our hands. So I feel that.
And while we're going through some ad reads, make sure to go out and hit that like button as well. CHGO has a weekly Pick X and NFL Survivor contest for everybody to participate in for real cheese, real cash, real cheddar. Am I missing any other cool slangs
real
kids throw around?
Guap.
Guap.
Guap, yeah.
All right.
Any other ones?
Here's how
Luke
to
just
enter.
goes all right.
Head to splashsports.com/CHGO. The link is in the description and sign up. Deposit cash to get started. It's just $10 to enter either one of them. The CHGO Weekly NFL Pick X Contest. First prize, $2,700. Second prize, $1,800. The CHGO Survivor Contest, $4,500. Winner takes all prize. We'll be running weekly contests all year, so be sure to keep that link handy. You want to run your own contest? Tired of being the commish on leagues, chasing people down, none of the reward? Well, you can sign up to be a commissioner right through our link and earn money for the contest you're already running with family and friends. Head to splashsports.com/CHGO to join in. We'll have different contests coming out, so we are stoked to compete with you and against you all. Be sure to click the link in our description. And if you're out there and you're thinking about, and I was talking about today, like, I don't know, I think I might need a car here. Here's some advice for you. Get your ducks in a row because it's the grand reopening for our friends at Ray Chevy, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Fox Lake. Flock in September 9th. Celebrate their Get Ducked event with free prizes and your chance to win $1,000. Plus, during Jeep Adventure Days, get employee pricing on all new 2023 Jeep Gladiator models. The grand reopening of Ray's CDJR in Fox Lake is only on September 9th, but the savings are all month long. You know what they say, find new roads.
Is that what they say?
That's what they say. If we had to pick a DraftKings king of the game, and we do, would you give it to Belly? Would you give it to Wisneski? Would you give it to Happ? Who should be our DraftKings king of the game?
I would say Hayden.
I think Wisneski can get that.
I think it's Wisneski
He was
too.
really good. He was.
If we gave an
3
award
1/3,
every
6
day, like
strikeouts.
Belly is just going to get it every day.
Bellinger.
So we got to spread the love
Belly's
a
at
little
a point.
bit. You know
It's
what I
like
mean?
MJ in the '90s. Like he could have won MVP every single year,
Right.
and you know,
Got to sprinkle the love.
Yeah,
a little,
you got to show some love to the less. Not to say that Wisneski is less, but Cody Bellinger's. If he didn't miss a month, he'd be in the MVP race.
Thing to point out about Wisneski, for those of you Bible bumpers out there, Samson in the Bible cuts his hair, loses his power. Wisneski cuts his hair, all of a sudden he's back. He's back. Cut his sleeves, cut his hair, new man.
Sometimes that's all.
3
you gotta
1/3,
do.
6 strikeouts. That's all I'm saying.
I get a haircut. I come on here and people say I have nice hair.
That's right.
Brendan always gets. No one ever compliments me on anything when we do our show.
Brendan
Everybody
said he
in the
was
chat.
drinking. After that loss, he was drinking 9.9%.
We got to be careful that Brendan's not drinking bleach after a loss like that, but we'll see.
Why, now, Brendan, if he's in the chat, why would he not just call in?
Oh, we don't need that.
This is what we went through with you the other day.
Do you want to
We're in the
listen to
chat,
him talk
fire
about
in.
Hayden Wisneski's horizontal break on his breaking ball,
That's
or
a
yes
good-
or no?
That's a good point. I'll save the heat maps for
Now he's going to text me. Why are you being mean to me?
Why do you mean to me? We have another
We do have a
super
super
chat.
chat.
I mean, this is from Knight6776, $10. I mean, this sucks, and I blame mostly the offense here, but this is what happens when you have a ground ball pitcher as your closer when you need a strikeout guy. Not a perfect roster, but I can't argue with the results. I do have a question about the save thing.
Another super chat, too.
For you young stats guys, you make fun of me with wins and losses.
Is this a Delmetrics question or a Sabermetrics
Delmetrics.
question? All right,
This is a Stuck
This is a
Metrics.
Cody question.
You do believe that saves is a better statistic to indicate success for a pitcher than wins,
For a closer, yeah.
but how much more?
The question
'Cause you can
is, is saves a good stat?
Is saves a good? It's a better stat for letting you know if that closer was good, I guess, than maybe a win is for a pitcher. But it may not be apples to apples, but I think it's sort of green apples to red apples. I do think it's sort of debatable if just saves. Like, we feel good that Alzalai has the most saves since the All-Star break. But what people are saying in the chat is you can get saves when you don't look good.
Sure.
Well, I mean, you can.
Right?
He also gets a blown save for that hit by pitch the other day, right?
That's
Which
right.
wasn't his mess.
That was Leiter's mess.
That was Leiter's mess.
Right.
That,
Yeah, no, I
he
agree.
lets a pitch slip
So
away.
you do like save as the number one
Well,
stat
wins.
for-
I mean, I'm not going to say wins are meaningless, but it's a horrid stat. Like, it doesn't reflect.
unless a guy has 21 of them.
I mean, you go out and give up 8 runs, but your offense scores 10, you get the win. Like, how good of a pitcher are you, right? Like,
Yeah, I think saves are. I would put saves ahead of wins as far, especially for like.
It's not a perfect stat though either.
No, it's not a perfect stat, but it's also for like. I feel like specifically for closers versus like wins for a starting pitcher.
Yeah.
Tells you more.
I think especially for like
success.
I think this is true of any pitcher, but like especially when you're looking at relievers, you're looking at the body of work, right? How hard is he getting hit? How difficult are these innings? Like things like that. Like, and Alzalai has looked really good. Like everybody's going to have some issues. It happens, you know.
Joey, do we
and
have
again,
more
it's
super chats?
a work in progress. This is a growth. Every outing is a growth opportunity for him. Like, I know that's not what people want to hear, but like, you don't have like vintage Trevor Hoffman coming out of that bullpen. Like, you know, this is just part of the deal.
Can you read that one,
our
Luke?
buddy Nando's not happy tonight.
Well, Fernando was at the
today.
game, wasn't he?
Yeah,
at both of them.
He was.
he's
He was
in the
at
natty.
game 1. I don't know if Fernando went to game 2.
The genius of David Ross. Have Fabian start tomorrow. Should really throw the Reds off. Game 2 was a joke. Ross cannot be serious about playing these games. This is a playoff run, not April.
Well, again, I go back to like that.
Thank you for the
That was
super chat.
fine. the way
I'm
he-
game.
Fernando.
The pitching.
Yeah, Fernando. Love Fernando. He's in here every day.
Of course.
Appreciate the $19.
I'm not sure.
99 cents.
I'm game to complain about David Ross anytime anybody wants. I don't dislike him, but I'm game to talk about it. I'm not sure what I feel like he messed up today.
Yeah.
Well, I
Maybe
would've liked-
because he didn't put Canario in the lineup.
Which it's a
maybe
rookie
we
who
would've had
never
more offense
played
with
at the
Canario,
major
but
league
then-
level.
right.
Yeah.
He's literally never taken a single swing at the major league level. Why are we complaining?
There's usually
I'm
stuff where I'm
joking.
like right away. I'm like, yep,
Yeah.
I'm with you. I
I'm
know.
not saying you
I'm not
for
sure. I
sure,
know.
but
there's-
No, I'm
people
saying
in the
I just
chat.
don't know. I'm not sure what we're talking about tonight.
No, there's been people in the chat, people on Twitter that are saying like he should have. Canario could have changed things. I'm like, this dude's you've never seen him play at pitch.
Yeah.
At the major league level, you have no
However,
idea.
There was
with the
an opportunity
I
opportunity
did want to
to
see
complain
it
with
but,
this
you know.
offense
but, like-
struggling right now, you know, just as you could.
Mix it up.
You could have seen him, but I'm not saying he changes the game.
I agree.
I'm not
I
agreeing
agree.
that Canario putting him in there for sure. I mean, I would have liked to see him because he got called up today. He has a doubleheader. I agree
Right.
with you guys earlier.
I think we were shocked we didn't see him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I
I'm
mean,
not
to be honest.
I can't agree that he's a game changer today in that second game. I can't agree with that because he's literally never played a major league game before.
The counter
That's
to that
just-
feels like David Ross started Jose Cuas, used Drew Smiley and Hayden Wisneski, and almost won a game giving up 1 run. Like, I'm not sure
Two
where
of
I
those
have
three
the problem
guys
with
people
David
have been
Ross
in this
today.
chat in the last week and a half complaining about. 2 of those 3 guys, Drew Smiley and Hayden Wisneski. So,
It was.
and it's
mean-
not like the Reds have a bad offense, man.
I mean, if we're looking at it, it very easily could not have worked out.
Yeah,
Considering you had
we could be
Cuas, who's
sitting
had-
here talking about a blowout loss right now.
Yeah, for sure. And those guys, in my opinion, he pushed the right buttons today. Will that specific lineup of pitchers work out every time? I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say probably not.
Yeah.
It worked out today. Ross pushed the right buttons today. Cuas was on his game, and he only got 2 outs, right? But he did what he needed to do to get to Smiley today. Smiley only gave up 1 run in his 3 innings or so. He did what he had to do today. Hayden Wisneski was really good today in a 3 1/3, I want to say. Mark Leiter Jr., same. Good today. Adbert blew a save today. But, like, to me, for the most part, especially with the way the pitching staff pitched today, like, the right buttons were pushed.
Yeah.
You know?
The Phillies
again,
are
it may
making
not
this
work out.
annoying.
It may not work out
Right.
again if you ever did that. Like, it might not work out 9 times out of 10 or something like that, but it did today. And I guess you can criticize the logic behind it, but it worked out, you know.
If you wanted to pregame complain about Cuas being the opener, you could have.
Yeah.
You wanted to complain that Smiley was going to come, but it all worked out.
If you knew it was going Cuas to Smiley, even to Wisneski pregame, like that was something that I feel like probably would have felt uneasy about, considering Cuas has had a few games with control issues. We know what Smiley's done, especially in longer outings as a starter. And Wisneski, sometimes you don't know what you're going to get from him, but it ended up working out.
Yeah.
So that's where
Yeah.
I'm at. That's why I can't complain about what happened because it
I do
worked.
want to see Canario on Saturday.
Yeah. I have no complaints about David Ross from this game. What I said about Canario is just kind of like it didn't, to me, considering it's a doubleheader
Oh, yeah, totally.
and the offense struggling, would have been nice to at least see if he would have provided an offensive boost. That's all I was saying. But yeah, I mean, David Ross can't go out there and hit for guys. You don't want David Ross to go out there and hit for guys. His own playing career, you didn't want him to hit for people. And then the pitching outside of Alzalai in the ninth inning was great. So you got to score runs. Your star players got to show up in games that matter, man. Like Bellinger consistently is the only one that you see every day, and you're like, God, where would we be without him?
Every day that goes by, the dollar signs go up.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Happ had a big hit tonight.
And so does the absolute need for them to re-sign him in the offseason.
Yeah. It's just like,
even if the deal doesn't work out in the long run, it's plain as day sitting in front of you. You can't let him walk away.
Right. It's so baseball that everyone outside of Ian Happ and Seiya Suzuki and Cody Bellinger are cold now, because beforehand it was reverse. For during that hot stretch, it was like everyone was hot except for Ian Happ and Seiya Suzuki, and now they're playing well, but everyone else isn't in terms of the offense, and so this version sucks because you're not getting contributions out of Mike Tauchman and other guys like Morel. He's obviously struggled this month. Nico's a guy that has been consistent. He's probably the one guy who's consistently just been fine all season offensively. I don't know what he did in this game. I don't remember him doing much of anything, but
Scored the first run, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he scored because did he get a hit or whatever? It doesn't matter. All I'm saying is that it's funny how things it feels like reverse now with the offense, because
that's something
just baseball.
Yeah, that's
me.
something that Jed has talked about, and that in a perfect world, all 9 guys are clicking at the exact same time, but that never happens. You're never gonna have any sort of extended stretch where all 9 guys are hitting well at the same time. Even the Cubs' best stretches of games this year, not every guy that was in the lineup every day was hitting. Was getting multiple hits a game, or getting they were not clicking every single game every single day. So it's going to happen. That is baseball. That's why they play 162, because the more you can just get most of your guys clicking at the same time, the better your odds are of winning those games. But yeah, that's baseball, and that's something that Jed has talked about. Is just getting the better players, increasing the chances that you'll have guys who won't go through those extended slumps, who won't. Who have the pedigree, the veteran know-how of just how to quickly turn things around, or just not let it sink too low. And I wanted to go into Bellinger this way. I like this tweet from Sahada Sharma of The Athletic earlier today. I think this was after Bellinger's second home run, so in Game 2. He said, even Bellinger's, quote, slumps are productive. From August 13th to August 30th, he had a 70 WRC plus, but that included Wednesday's game-winning hit, a 5 RBI, 3-hit night in Pittsburgh, and a 2-homer game against the Royals. And so far to start September, he's 3 for 6 with 2 homers and a walk. So yeah, it's you don't even realize that he's struggling, because he's when he's struggling, right, quote unquote, because that's,
offensively,
we've seen slumps be way worse than that. So even when he's struggling, it doesn't sink too low. He's still managing to make good things happen when it's needed, and he plays elite defense in the center field, and he's playing really good defense at first base. So he's still providing in all areas of the game, even if his offense isn't as good as we've seen it be so often this year. And so Cody Bellinger, it feels like, especially with the Ohtani stuff, it feels like Bellinger's got to be the priority now for the Cubs.
Overpay. You're gonna have to overpay. That's okay.
The
you
way
saved a lot of money.
The way
before
his trajectory
last offseason, or a couple years saving a lot of money.
The way his trajectory's gone this season, it's what'd you say earlier? Every day the price tag goes up. That's what it feels like, because just every single day he's doing something. He hits 2 home runs in a doubleheader today. Just every day he's doing something, looking better, continuing to be a good Cody Bellinger. And it's every single day. And I talked about this, was it a month ago, maybe more than that, when we were talking about if the Cubs should re-sign Bellinger, or even try to extend him during the season, whatever it was. And I kind of said I want to see it to the end of the season before I can firmly say he's back and needs this big contract. But every day that goes by, I'm getting closer and closer and more confident that he is that guy. Getting
you and
closer
every
to
team,
that belief, right?
You and every other team out there, right?
Yeah. So it's 2 months ago, a month and a half ago, a month ago, we still weren't completely sold, still weren't completely sure. But all he's done is just continuing to go up and produce and play good defense and be a good clubhouse presence. And every single day the confidence that like, hey, this actually might be the Cody Bellinger that pre-injury, and like he may be
Right.
back. Like that confidence and that belief is like, for me at least, is growing every single day because he just keeps proving it.
Barb's asking how much will it cost. I would say the number's over 200. I would say the number's over Dansby Swanson's deal.
It's going to be a lot.
I think so. Yeah.
I'd be surprised if it's not.
It's, also like to your point about like the streakiness, like, you've got guys in this lineup that are cold, right? And they need to get going again. Candy's got, I just looked this up. He's got a 565 OPS in his last 15 games, right? And it feels that way when you watch it. Like you're just missing that. Dansby's down to a 105 WRC plus. Like he was at 116 last year with the Braves. Like he's obviously in a cold stretch. He did not have a good night in that game too, with a couple strikeouts and that really bad one looking in the first inning. Talkman's cooled off a little bit, but obviously you're not expecting as much of him as you are from Candy and Dansby. So, it happens, right? Like some of these guys need to get going. Like it feels like so much of, and it's why we talk about it, is Belly. Just like putting the team on his back and carrying the team. Ian Happ has had a really nice week here, but you need those other guys to get going. Like that's really the long and short of it. As you said, Ryan, you may not have 1 through 9 all going at the at the exact same time, but lately you just had too much inconsistency throughout the lineup. You need Dansby and Candy specifically, I think, right now to be coming through with more regularity than they have been, and situationally, right? Like it's not all about slug and homer. Like you need to drive runners in. Like that first inning is real frustrating. Like it's not all on Dansby. It's not on one person. Everybody's freaking out about Alzalai, right? Like it's a team loss ultimately, but like you have to get a runner in that first inning, and you've just seen too many instances of that from different guys. Like they got to be better situationally. They have to be better against some of these lesser pitchers that they've had the opportunity to face. Really nice wins earlier this week, like we said, against really tough Brewers pitching. But when you get a cake of a matchup, you don't have to score 15 runs, but you didn't take any pressure off of the 7 pitchers you rolled out there today. You have to be better than that.
Well, and like as you mentioned, just like the offense in the last week, 2 weeks, whatever it's been. Obviously pretty fortunate that the pitching staff has started to pick up the slack, because there was obviously that stretch where the offense was doing well. They were putting, not every game was a blowout or anything, but they were putting up 5-6 runs a game, and sometimes that should be enough to win. But the pitching staff wasn't kind of carrying their end of the bargain. And so now the pitching staff has started to turn it around. Obviously Jordan Wakes has come up and been good. Assad's been great. Hendricks has been great. Steele's been his usual great self. Like, the pitching staff, the starters, the bullpen, they've started to pick up the slack while the offense has struggled. Like, the Cubs just need to find some balance between those two and have the pitching staff obviously being good and the offense figuring it out, because, again, like, it would be a lot safer for the Cubs to just have some blowout wins here. They had one that last game against the Pirates, but they're just not. The last few weeks have been a lot of close games, and in a way that's good for a lot of these younger players to just continue to get that confidence and that experience in higher leverage, pressure-filled situations. But like, if the pitching staff can continue to pitch for the most part like what they've done the last week or so, couple weeks, and the offense figures it out, like you're going to start seeing them actually play, blow some people out. Like, that they need that. I feel like they just kind of need a couple of those games right now because they've been in so many close games lately.
And I think like it's one of those things where the focus has so much been on just getting into the playoffs, because I think this team does have what it takes to win in the playoffs. Like, do they have what it takes to go up against the Braves or so? I don't know. We'll deal with that if we get there. It sounds wonderful, right? Like, that would be great if we're talking about that. But like, they have the individual players. It's about if it all comes together at the right time, which I think is pretty much what we would have expected about this team, right? Like, for this team to break camp with the roster that they had and the expectations that we all had, for us to be in September thinking like, yeah, this is a juggernaut, they're just going to run through. Like, no, how would that have happened, right? Like, that's a pipe dream. So they're going to have to get guys hot at the right time when we get toward the end of September and into the playoffs, and see if things click all at the right time. Until then, put your head down and try to win games. That's what it's been about. Some of these wins, even against, in that couple-week stretch against lesser competition, weren't the prettiest, but who cares, right? You're just trying to get into the playoffs. So it's not perfect. It was never going to be perfect, and it isn't going to be perfect. That's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Guys, want to tell you about Circle K. It is America's thirst stop, and they have a new free membership program, the Circle K Inner Circle. Save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. It's a lot right now. Mm-hmm. Get every 6th free on a selection of Circle K products. They've got pizza, coffee, ice, cold, fountain drinks. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. Brendan loves Circle K.
Yeah, apparently Brendan loves
I love
Circle
K.
K.
Yeah,
He's in the chat. He could
really loves
probably
Circle K.
write a whole paragraph about his love for Circle K.
83, Route 83 in Buffalo Grove. Great Circle K.
And, on my way home, I might stop at the liquor store and get some Goose Island because the Brewers are ruining my night, and I need something to feel better. Goose Island is your official beer of CHGO, Chicago's beer since 1988. We got the beer roster here. The Beer Hug family, of course, that we talked about. Tropical is my favorite. 312 Wheat Ale, the Full Pocket Pills, and Oktoberfest.
Fall
right
is
around,
here.
Yeah, it's right
Oktoberfest is here.
Right around the corner, right?
Autumn of the Ass Man is here.
It's the Autumn of the Ass Man tomorrow, baby. I might pick up some Oktoberfest because it is the Autumn of the Ass Man. We got tailgates coming up, right? Week 1 against the Packers, Bears-Packers. AllCHGO.com for more information on that, but obviously there'll be plenty of Goose there. So shout out to them. Grab Ultra Fresh Brewery exclusive beers at Goose Island Original Brew House on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, or from their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer.
I wanted to do the beer bat, folks.
Yeah.
I was ready.
He was.
So what
I was
what,
ready.
Even washed it out and did a test drive.
What has to happen for you to do it? Like, what's the next?
Well, now
challenge?
I don't know. I don't know if I feel like it anymore.
Oh,
What if?
Well, it's got to. I mean, it's got to be something. We were going to do it because if they had swept a doubleheader, right? So we need a new. I don't know. We need a new thing. Yeah, and as people in the chat are saying, the Phillies took the lead, or the Brewers took the lead on a Phillies error, which is just the most Brewers.
After a bases
scored
loaded
3
walk.
runs on an error, which is the most Brewers thing ever.
And a bases loaded walk out.
The luckiest organization.
I mean, we've been watching this movie for 5 years, right? Like the Brewers just win games
luckiest
like
organization,
this.
but they've never won anything. So not that lucky.
Their World Series is game 163 against the Cubs
Just a game.
in 2018.
Colada says Bears stink.
Huh?
Colada says Bears skunk emoji.
Oh, so Bears
Bears
stink.
Bears stink. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, now at this point, if they clinch a playoff spot, I'll do one. Like, do they have another doubleheader?
I got to be honest.
It can't just be one win. A regular
be a playoff
win.
Could be a
right?
big comeback win, though. Like
How about if they win that series against the Brewers at the end of the year?
Oh, yeah. Then he's probably 2 bats.
Well,
I mean,
that's winning. What about just winning the Central? Because that feels like it's still very. We don't know right now. I feel like we're pretty good about. Well,
we'll discuss.
No
Sure.
There is a wall.
Send us your ideas.
This is a wall behind us with stairs. I mean, there could be a beer bong over that wall if
maybe.
the Cubs go to the playoffs. Not for me,
How about-
but I'm just saying, drink responsibly.
Send us your ideas.
21 and older, please.
What you got?
Let's talk about a little who we got. It was debatable. We had Happ and Bellinger. The Happ argument is that he had the go-ahead RBI. Bellinger homered in 2 games. Do you give him credit for doing it in 2 games on the same day, or do you just say that's 1 home run?
Well,
But it was a home run, and he was 2 for 3.
I will say that after the blown save, now Bellinger and Happ both have go ahead RBIs in this game.
That is a fair
It's not the game-winning
I
RBI
can't
anymore. It's just
disagree
a
with
go-ahead
that.
RBI. And Bellinger has two for 3, walk, homer.
I'm not going to make the decision because Corey's been giving me dirty looks.
Look, I'm the one with Happ. I don't know. They didn't win the game. I don't care.
I'll take the
Then
win.
Ryan will take it.
I'll take it. Absolutely.
Ryan will take it.
I learned today, I was
Gotta be
today
thinking that.
years old when I learned that manifestation of sacrificing who you got only works for one game. So 1 game per day. No more double headers.
No,
Because
okay.
then it doesn't work.
For sure.
Because Dansby sucked tonight. So big of me to admit this, and credit to me for, blaming myself for Dansby Swanson not looking great at the plate tonight.
You're a
But
real
hey,
man
still
of
looks
honor.
great on defense. All right.
You're a very humble man of honor.
Thank you. I tell myself when I'm in
Cody
bed.
Humble
that
Del
It was
Mendo,
all
they call him.
everybody that's still out there. We get 52 likes. We've been here all day podcasting.
Yeah.
Well,
Tucker
throw
it out.
throw
And
some
just-
thumbs up.
Did you see that picture of me? That
Yeah, we
Luke
need way
posted
more
on
Throw your
likes.
Twitter?
thumbs in
We
the
need
air.
way more likes.
Burnt out today.
Did you see how tired Ryan was? He was
Yeah.
sleeping on the job a couple hours ago, snoring.
resting
Chick-fil-A
my-
bag was going up and down as he's just
Resting my eyes in between
sawing
innings. That's
logs
all it
over
was.
there.
Resting my eyes in between pitches.
Becky says, Cody and Luke, you look good.
Oh, thanks,
Especially for
Becky.
our age. Especially for our age at this
Thanks,
hour.
Becky. Appreciate it.
Not me.
Well, it's the
Nice, yeah.
AG1. Ryan's not taking enough of the AG1.
It's the legs.
Tell me about
Yeah, I was gonna say. You know what I am taking enough of? Shady Rays. Here we go.
there. I got
Corey?
mine on.
Oh, yeah, I
my
got
Shady
mine, too.
Rays. Corey,
Cody's
come on, snap
left
out
up.
of it, Corey.
I didn't go grab mine. I'm sorry.
We've
Cody's
all moved
looking
on
up.
to we've all moved on to Saturday's
Here you go.
game in the autumn of the ass man.
I
Shady
guess
Rays.
I've already.
Cody's
I'll
left
just sit
out.
here and be awkward.
All right, take on the sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered for the warm weather ahead with premium polarized shades at an affordable price. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've worn. Durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. That's what you get with Shady Rays, and that's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after you purchase. Together with their customers, Shady Rays is providing much-needed support to nonprofit partners across the U.S. through Shady Rays Impact. From building playsets for pediatric cancer patients to providing young adults with MS the outdoor adventure of a lifetime, Shady Rays is making an impact in your community and others like it now and for years to come. If you don't love your Shady Rays, exchange for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use code CHGO for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. You look pretty good in ours.
Very nicely done. Look at that.
I think I
Think of how much
mentioned
of a
this.
vibe this could have been.
I think I mentioned this before. I think I look good in these, but I did not put my prescription in them, so I can't see anything. So
That
wear
sounded
my-
older than anything I've ever said on this podcast.
You know.
But
Yeah, you
If
did.
it-
You did just kinda
people could
take-
say anything in the chat right now. I would have no idea what it is. So
what did Hogue not know? Was it LOL?
Oh, TBH.
TBH.
I don't remember what it
To
was.
be at Hallis, he thought it was.
To be at
To be at Hallis is what he thought it was. Ass man on the mound as the Cubs try to win one tomorrow.
Guarantee a split.
Guarantee at least a
Manifest.
split.
Manifest the ass man. The autumn of the ass
Autumn of the ass man. The
We
the
need
calendar
the
is
ass
turned to
man
September.
tomorrow, brother. We need it. And also, come on, get the offense going, bro. I actually feel more confident about the ass man tomorrow than I do our offense. So make me feel better about both at the same. I want to feel better about the offense, even though they scored 6 runs in the first game today.
Listen, I was looking for a sign last night that the autumn of the ass man was a real thing, and I looked up and I saw a blue supermoon, and I thought, there it is. That's exactly what I was looking for. Thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs podcast. We appreciate all of you in the live chat. Make sure you subscribe to the CHGO Sports YouTube page. Hit all the likes, the positive reviews, 5 stars if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We appreciate that. $24 shirts for a couple more hours, I believe, at allchgo.com. And we'll be here. You guys are going to have a Sunday Cubs-related podcast.
Oh,
Yeah, probably do
Corey
a
and
Twitter
Brennan.
space tomorrow.
We'll probably do a little
So
something.
look out
Corey,
for that.
yeah, Cody will have
We're getting-
something rolling
I don't
out
know
there.
why. Look, I
Also, I think
manifesting
the-
a W, but I don't know why Brendan and I keep getting Tyone on Sunday. But
Also, Del
Feels
Mendo
pointed
cast
by David
tomorrow.
Ross.
I think I'm gonna do the Del Mendo cast tomorrow night.
Del Mendo cast tomorrow.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Until then, thanks for watching and listening, and fly the W.